Invincible Fight Girl only got 4 episodes out and just gave us a 5-star banger, a match of the year. Spoilers are happening. It's our girl Andy versus Mbrandon beef puncher, and all you need to know is Andy is fighting on behalf of Mbrandon's brother Mikey. Mikey built like a brick house, but that boy don't want to be a wrestler. He wants to be a wrestling journalist. Mikey's father ain't having that. Boy, you built like a brick house and you want to sit at a desk? If you don't get your Johnny Bravo built body in the ring and start against the ropes. So here's where Andy steps in. She was cool with Mikey, and so if he can't fight for his dream, she will. And all Andy has to do is beat Mikey's older brother, Mbrandon, a seasoned wrestler. Look, it don't matter if it's Mbrandon beef puncher, punch bowl, or kick puncher. Andy's ready to fight because she's got something to fight for, and unlike her first time in the ring, now she's a bit more confident. So your girl starts off strong and goes right for the only move she knows, hits an Eminari roll and goes for that knee bar. Problem is, her technique still isn't good, and then Brandon's looking down at her like, yo, I missed Bulgarian squats for this. Mikey in the corner like, I can't be telling people we're friends if you're gonna be doing this. And Brandon lets Andy know, alright, that was cute, but this is happening now. Then he gives her the Aleister Black alley-oop so she gets tossed in the air. Then he gets his stance ready for the beef punch's secret recipe. He hits Andy with a special sauce called the beef punch. He hit that girl dead in the chest, knocked her across the ring against the turnbuckle. Your girl is dazed, wondering what was that about? Andy's thinking to herself, okay, well that was an insane amount of power, but she's still standing up like, yo, that all you got? And Mbrandon just introduced Andy to strong style wrestling. This is all strikes, baby. And Brandon's thinking, hold on a second, I hit her with a beef punch and she can still form coherent sentences? Andy tries going high this time and takes a beef punch to the face. Andy's back on the mat, but she ain't hearing no bell, so she's back on her feet, charging in again. She keeps trying to get at Mbrandon, but my man's spamming that one move and it is working on her. And Mbrandon is rocking this girl. He has her on the ropes, literally. Andy an only child, but find out what it's like to get an older brother beat down right now. But the thing is, Andy's getting used to Mbrandon's power. And here we see Andy's a Rocky Balboa fan because it's not how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Sorry, I love that speech. But now Andy's wondering, why is Mbrandon only doing the same move over and over? Oh, it's because he thinks that's all he needs to beat me. He ain't taking me seriously. He thinks it's all jokes over here. This man thinking my name Bobulius J. Folius. Cool, I'ma use that shit. And she rushes in, knowing that Mbrandon's gonna use the same exact attack again. So this time, as she's charging in, Andy peeps his technique. And right when Mbrandon's about to throw that punch, she jumps in the air, blocks the hit, and my man gets shook a little bit. Andy tries to hit that Uzumaki somersault heel kick, gets blocked, but then stands her ground and starts throwing hands with Mbrandon. You might be thinking this looks more like MMA. Nah, pro wrestling got strikes. And right now they throwing strikes like Shinsuke Nakamura and Kota Ibushi. I'm talking Malachi Black and Kyle O'Reilly, Shane Taylor and Asuka. They squabbling for real, but when you take a closer look, you see Mbrandon is blocking all of Andy's shots and Andy is taking mad damage. Your girl is getting rocked in the face with haymakers. I want to remind you, this is a show for ages 7 and up. The animation team said, hey, all these young kids about to be young lions because they're gonna learn what strong style is today. And again, I gotta give them credit for letting Andy be a girl that wants to be the best wrestler in the world. Not the best female wrestler, the best wrestler alive. Period. And to do that, she's gonna have to battle anybody that's everybody. And I love that it shows, just like intergender wrestling, you got this girl rocking with the boys, and it's normal. She shouldn't be taking this much damage though. That ain't normal, but your girl is smiling though because she's got a plan. Andy winds up for another punch, and then Brandon's like, yo, we doing this again? Nah, I ain't having it. He gets that beef puncher special sauce ready. And as soon as he launches it, Andy stops the feint, jumps in the air, and hits Mbrandon with the best dropkick in the biz, circa Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. Yes, I will say his name every single time a dropkick is thrown in these videos. And Mbrandon was just able to dodge the kick, but he still got nicked by it. Nicked something fierce, I might add. He realizes that wasn't 10% luck, but 15% skill. He got played. And Brandon's looking at Andy thinking, I'm sorry, I didn't respect your game, but since I do now, let's up the difficulty level a bit. Let's go God mode. I knew this shit was all business because Andy turned back to face Mbrandon and saw him running up on her with the double axe handle punch. He used Rick James physics too. He came down with that shit so it hurt more. That man got Andy floating in the air like the trash bag from American Beauty. And Mbrandon got Andy catching wreck along with a lariat, along with an uppercut. And Mbrandon went and switched up the recipe, added a little more speed in the mix this time. But the special sauce is still the same because he throws another beef puncher punch at Andy in the breadbasket. Your girl is done on the mat, face down, cold. And we see how serious it is because Mikey's like, yo, this is done. stopped the match. If there was a towel around his shoulder, he would have thrown it in right here. This lets us know, just like in the real world when it comes to professional wrestling, things can happen in this ring as well that can leave you changed for life. Mikey is telling Andy, hey, tap out. This is not worth it. His dad's like, hey, shut up, because you gotta see this. This is the way of the world. This is what happens. Only the strong survive. Apocalypse said that back in X-Men. Yeah, I read X-Men comics, whatever. I had a life before you kids. Anyway, this is what happens when you can't hack it. You know the price of weakness? I don't know the price of weakness. She does though, because she's paying for it in the ring face down right now. Andy is on the ground trying to force herself to move, and when she does, she lets everybody know, hey, y'all over here saying I'm paying the price for weakness. Well, you about to run me a refund real quick. Andy lets Mbrandon know your arms are too short to beef with God. And Mbrandon hears her and respects it, so he goes to finish this with a new special recipe, a double beef chop. Andy's done. And she tries to block it, and she can't get over it, and she can't sidestep it. And then we see all these scenarios are playing out in Mikey's head because he knows what Mbrandon's about to do next. And once he realizes the best way for Andy to avoid the attack, he tells her, yo, duck. Andy listens, and she's still in the game. Everybody's shocked, like, yo, Mikey, what you doing? You helping this stranger out over your family? Which basically translates as, hey, you're siding with the stranger that treats you better than we treat you? Yes, and Mikey starts giving Andy the play-by-play. As soon as Mbrandon comes in for an attack, Mikey analyzes it and tells her what to do. That man charging in, yo, hit him with an RKO. And we see, just because Mikey doesn't want to wrestle doesn't mean he doesn't know about wrestling. The boy wants to be a wrestling journalist because he's an amazing wrestling analyst. Mikey then gives away the recipe and tells Andy where Mbrandon gets all his power from, his base. And Brandon's looking like, I ain't even do nothing. You just gonna Mikey's analysis impresses Mbrandon, and he realizes, oh man, we thought you didn't really rock with this, but nah, you were learning in your own way. Now, when folks find out that Andy was an accountant, they keep calling her Accountant Girl, which she hates, but she might have to rethink that because she keeps making business pick up. Andy runs down on Mbrandon like she's IRS Erwin R. Shyster if you're nasty, and goes full Cobra Kai as she sweeps the leg. And Mbrandon avoids, but every time he tries to get the solid base, Andy is right back on the attack trying to get a piece of that leg. Andy is not giving up on these sweeps. She's steadily picking up her pace, and when she finds herself on her back, she hits a windmill and uses that as leg sweeps. You know a fighter and the fight is serious when they start busting out B-girl moves. Spin-a-rooney if you're nasty. Andy is going after Mbrandon, keeping him off balance, and we see her with the confidence she didn't have in her first match. But in this match, Andy isn't the same fighter that she was before. And as she hawks Mbrandon down and keeps slipping to his blind side, we see her lure Mbrandon in for another attack, and when he goes for that beef punch, she blocks it with her head, then looks at that boy and is smiling because she still has him off balance. And Brandon's taking it back because, yo, she's not the same fighter that started this match. And we can even see Andy's influence on Mikey because he's more confident now. Together, they're an impressive team. And Mbrandon puts respect on it, then comes after Andy. Andy is dead tired, but I love how she takes one deep breath and then just runs back into action. The team for Invincible Fight Girl has done an incredible job of not only representing pro wrestling, but representing the ring psychology that goes into telling a story physically within pro wrestling. Andy's dead tired, but she's pushing through. She's pushing past her limit. So this time when she's squabbling with Mbrandon, she's actually on equal ground. She's blocking shots and throwing hands. She's truly encompassed strong style here. In Japan, pro wrestling is known as po wrestle. Instead of theatrics, the wrestling's more about fighting spirit and perseverance. It's all about how much a wrestler can take. They'll go blow for blow with each other and won't stop till someone's on the ground. They'll do this multiple times in a match because it shows who's really about this action. And here we see Andy have the same mindset as she's stepping to Mbrandon. Not only stepping to him, but stepping in closer to him, closing the distance. Where she was blocking shots before, she stops now because she's about that action. She's showing that she can take these hits. It don't even bother her. In pro wrestling, when you get hurt by a move, it's called selling because you're showing how painful it is. But when it doesn't hurt, that's called no selling. And Andy is no selling all these hits from Mbrandon because it don't phase her. Andy has really gone full NJPW because she's in her young lion era. And when she lines up that right hand again, Mbrandon backs up, but it's a feint. We see Andy reinvent Rock Lee's Leaf Hurricane because she goes for the sweep, gets Mbrandon off balance, then jumps up in the air and hits him with the shotgun drop kick circa American Dragon Bryan Danielson. Mbrandon is rocked and Andy takes to the ropes. She's winding up for her next attack, letting them know, yo, y'all think strength is everything, but it don't mean nothing if you ain't fighting for something. And we see how much of a fighter Andy is because take a look at her. Her fit is torn. Your girl is bruised up. She's got a black eye. This is a girl that wants to be the best wrestler alive, so they have shown her getting it out the mud. You can't deny her heart, drive, or will. She's charging back towards Mbrandon full speed. She's ready to knock Mbrandon's block off. She's got tunnel vision for it, and that's the problem because she just ran into a trap. Mbrandon was playing possum and he gets his leftovers out of the fridge and uses Andy's own momentum against her as he hits her with a leftover beef punch. He hits Andy with that full body blow punch, and Andy's bouncing off the ground like a pog in the 90s. Andy is laid out on the ground with her hand across her chest. Mikey's telling her to get up because Mbrandon's coming closer, and as Mbrandon gets closer to Andy, he sees her down on the ground, gets down on one knee, then places his hand on top of her hand as the referee goes in for the count. 1, 2, 3. Andy just took her first L. There's always going to be a winner and a loser in a fight, but there's certain fights that make you feel, get you on edge. Because the match they put on was so spectacular, was such a standout that even though they take a loss, they didn't really lose anything. Because they're over with the crowd. The crowd is still backing them. And after that match she just put on with Mbrandon, that was only her second match, we're still backing Andy.